On-time delivery and fulfillment rates in supply chain analytics. This lesson explains how to measure and analyze on-time delivery and fulfillment rates using real-world datasets. On-time delivery and order fulfillment rates are critical operational KPIs for both retailers and logistics providers. You will learn to load real e-commerce order data, compute on-time rates, explore fulfillment bottlenecks, avoid common pitfalls, and build real analytics workflows. By the end, you will be able to extract and interpret key metrics from supply chain operations data for decision-making. Running the cell now. We import pandas to work efficiently with tabular data. We import NumPy for additional numerical functions. We import warnings to suppress warning messages. We use warnings.filter warnings to ignore warning outputs. Running the cell now. Understanding operational data behind on-time delivery and fulfillment rates. Most supply chain analytics use data about orders, deliveries, and shipments. Fields often include order IDs, timestamps, delivery estimates, actual delivery dates, and fulfillment status. Data is usually structured as flat tables with one row per order or transaction. Beginners often forget to convert time columns to date time or fail to handle missing or incomplete events. Always verify column types, especially for dates and status fields before analysis. Running the cell now. Let us first load a real e-commerce order fulfillment dataset. We want to see if the structure matches what we expect in supply chain analytics. Here we annotate that we will load actual customer order and delivery data. We provide the dataset URL for all e-commerce orders. We read the CSV data into a pandas data frame called orders. We print the shape to see the number of records and columns. We print the first 3 rows so we can preview the order data. Running the cell now. This output shows we successfully loaded a large e-commerce orders dataset with nearly 100,000 rows and 8 key columns related to order IDs, customer IDs, and multiple timestamp fields tracking the order lifecycle. Notice how the timestamps include purchase, approval, delivery to carrier and customer, and estimated delivery dates. These are crucial for calculating on-time delivery and fulfillment metrics later. The data preview confirms the expected flat table structure, setting the foundation to clean and analyze operational delivery data. Try identifying the key columns that relate to delivery or shipping. Which timestamp fields are present in this data? Our next step is crucial for any temporal analysis. We must ensure our date columns are in date-time format. This avoids mistakes in calculations and filtering. Here we convert the purchase timestamp to pandas date-time format. We also convert the actual delivery date to date time. We convert the estimated delivery date to date time as well. All temporal columns are now safely formatted. Running the cell now. Why is it dangerous to leave dates as strings? Try checking the data types after this step. A basic metric in fulfillment is the count of successfully delivered orders. We create a Boolean mask for orders where the status is delivered. We print the total number of rows where delivery was completed. Running the cell now. This output shows the total count of orders marked as delivered, which is 96,478. Notice how the code filters the dataset by delivery status and sums true values to get this key metric, helping us quantify fulfillment performance directly from the operational data table. This step is crucial for understanding how many orders have successfully completed the supply chain process. Try filtering the orders where delivery failed or is late as additional practice. To analyze on-time delivery, we must know how long an order took from purchase to delivery. This is known as delivery lag or lead time. We subtract the purchase timestamp from the delivered customer date, then convert the result to number of days as a new column. Running the cell now. Check some individual delivery lags. Are they negative or extremely large values? Now we need a direct measure for on-time delivery. Did the package arrive by or before the estimated delivery date? We create a new Boolean column that is true if the order was delivered on or before the estimate, otherwise false. Running the cell now. What percentage of orders do you expect were delivered on time? Let us now summarize the core metric, the proportion of delivered orders that were on time. We compute the total number of delivered orders. We count the number of delivered orders marked as on time. We compute the on-time delivery rate as on-time divided by total delivered. We print the on-time delivery rate as a %. Running the cell now. This output shows that 91.88% of the delivered orders arrived on time, highlighting the overall punctuality of the delivery process. Notice how the code filters to only delivered orders before calculating the on-time rate, which is crucial for accurate operational insights. This step connects to the lesson's focus on using delivery status and timestamps correctly to measure fulfillment performance. Compare your result against industry benchmarks for e-commerce. Try filtering by country or customer segment as well. Knowing the overall rate is good, but management often wants to see trends. Monthly on-time delivery trends can reveal seasonal patterns or supply issues. We select delivered orders, set purchase time as index, then resample by month and calculate the mean of the on_time values. We print the last few months to examine recent performance. Running the cell now. This output shows the monthly average on-time delivery rate, calculated by resampling orders with delivery confirmed and averaging their on-time flags per month. Notice the trend fluctuates between roughly 90% and 98%, highlighting variability in fulfillment performance over time. This step emphasizes the importance of correctly converting timestamps and filtering delivered orders to analyze delivery timeliness accurately. How else could you display this trend for easier interpretation? Practice plotting if you can. Let us now isolate late deliveries to find root causes or improvement opportunities. Managers may prioritize customers with long delays or frequent tardiness. We filter orders that are delivered but not on time. We print columns for order ID, actual delivery lag, and estimated delivery for these late orders. Running the cell now. This output shows a sample of late deliveries, filtering orders where the actual delivery occurred after the estimated date. Notice the positive delivery lag values, 21 to 33 days, highlighting significant delays. This step emphasizes the importance of correctly flagging and analyzing late shipments to improve supply chain performance. Which orders were late by the largest margin? What might be responsible for extreme lags? A parallel metric to on-time rate is fulfillment rate, the % of all placed orders which are ultimately delivered. This is especially important for supply chain executives and forecasting. We check for rows where the status is delivered, and compute the mean, which gives us the fulfillment rate. We print out the overall fulfillment rate for all orders. Running the cell now. This output shows the overall fulfillment rate, indicating that 97.02% of all orders were successfully delivered. Notice how the code calculates this by checking the order_status column for delivered entries and then averages the result to get a percentage. This step is crucial for understanding fulfillment performance across the entire dataset, not just among completed deliveries. How does fulfillment rate differ from on-time delivery rate conceptually? Just knowing whether orders are late or not is not enough. Decision makers also want to know how late, on average, orders are when there is a delay. We calculate lateness by subtracting the estimated delivery lag from actual delivery lag for each late order. We then print the average days late. Running the cell now. This output shows that, on average, late orders are delivered about 9.45 days after their estimated delivery dates. The code calculates this by comparing the actual delivery lag to the originally expected delivery window, highlighting the extent of delay. This insight is crucial for understanding fulfillment performance and identifying areas where delivery estimates may be overly optimistic or operational issues cause delays. Explore different ways of summarizing lateness such as median or percentiles. Practitioners often need to share detailed lists of late orders across departments, service providers, or reporting tools. We export the summary table of late orders, including the lag and estimated date, to a CSV file for further collaboration. We print a confirmation message that the CSV creation is done. Running the cell now. This output confirms that the filtered data on late orders, including key columns like order ID, delivery lag, and estimated delivery date, has been successfully saved to a CSV file. Exporting this summary enables easy sharing and further analysis by the team, supporting collaborative decisions to improve on-time delivery. Notice how selecting relevant columns ensures the file is concise and focused on the most critical operational metrics. Now opening the late orders summary CSV file so you can review which orders were delayed and by how much. Practice using _Excel or other formats for operational reporting. Missing delivery dates are common in operational data, either due to open orders or poor tracking. We need to quantify how much data is affected. We check which orders are missing a delivered customer date. We print the count of such orders. Running the cell now. Here, the code identifies and counts orders with missing delivery dates, revealing that 2,965 entries lack this crucial timestamp. This highlights a common data quality issue that can skew on-time delivery analysis if not addressed. Recognizing and handling missing delivery dates is essential before calculating accurate fulfillment rates. What might be the operational cause of missing delivery dates? How should these records be handled in KPIs? Sometimes data inconsistencies occur, such as delivery registered before purchase. We want to detect and count such anomalies. We identify rows where the delivery lag is negative. We print the count of orders with negative lag, which should not happen. Running the cell now. This output shows that there are 0 negative delivery lag values in the dataset, meaning no deliveries are recorded as arriving before the order date. This check is crucial because negative lags indicate impossible or erroneous timestamps, and confirming none exist ensures the delivery time data is reliable for analyzing on-time performance. The code helps highlight the importance of validating time-related columns before deeper analysis in supply chain datasets. Try exploring the records with negative values and determine how to correct or ignore them. We must be wary of data entry errors that could inflate KPI numbers, such as delivery dates far in the future. We build a Boolean mask for orders that appear as more than 6 months late. We count and print how many such extreme outlier records we found. Running the cell now. This output shows that there are 2 orders where the actual delivery date is more than 6 months later than the estimated delivery date. Notice how the code uses a time comparison to identify these extreme delays, highlighting the importance of properly handling date-time data and validating date ranges in on-time delivery analysis. Catching such outliers helps ensure data quality and accurate fulfillment metrics. Consider how your business would investigate or remediate such data issues. Best practices for on-time and fulfillment KPI analysis. Always standardize all timestamps before KPI calculations. Check for and document any missing or inconsistent data. Aggregate KPIs at several time intervals such as weekly, monthly, or by business quarter. Segment your analysis by product, region, or supply partner when possible. Validate new KPIs against sample transactions and known business logic. Running the cell now. One best practice is to aggregate your KPIs at weekly granularity, making trends apparent and smoothing seasonal noise. We create a week column using the ISO week. We aggregate by week, computing mean on_time, on-time rate, and count of delivered orders. We rename the columns for readability. We print out the last few weeks to review. Running the cell now. This output shows the weekly on-time delivery rates alongside the count of delivered orders for the final weeks of the year, revealing an upward trend in punctuality as the weeks progress. Notice how on-time rates improve while delivered order volumes generally decrease, highlighting the importance of segmenting KPIs by time intervals to detect patterns and balance between fulfillment speed and order volume. This aggregation helps ensure more accurate, actionable insights for operational planning and performance evaluation. Try grouping by month, year, or product to develop supply chain insights. Reusable KPI functions make it easier to apply analytics to new data or test scenarios. Here is an example KPI calculator for on-time and fulfillment rates. We define a function to compute two core supply chain KPIs, delivered on-time rate and fulfillment rate. Within the function, we mask for delivered orders. We calculate on-time rate using Boolean mean. We compute fulfillment rate as the mean of delivered orders. We return both KPIs. We run the function on our data and assign the two results. We print the formatted KPIs. Running the cell now. This output shows the calculated KPIs for delivered orders, an on-time delivery rate of 91.88% and a fulfillment rate of 97.02%. Notice how the function first filters for delivered orders before computing these metrics, ensuring accuracy by excluding incomplete or cancelled orders. This aligns with best practices by standardizing the data scope before KPI calculation, providing a solid foundation for deeper time or segment-based analysis. Practice writing your own KPI functions for other business metrics like returns or cancellations. Let us tie everything together into an end-to-end supply chain analytics workflow, transforming raw order data into actionable metrics. We select orders marked as delivered and copy for further operations. We calculate delivery lag and on-time indicators for each delivered order. We add a month column by flooring purchase dates to month. We group by month to aggregate on-time delivery rate, average delivery lag, and delivery volume. We print the final table for management reporting. Running the cell now. This output shows the aggregated monthly KPIs for delivered orders, including the on-time delivery rate, average delivery lag in days, and the count of delivered orders. Notice the generally high on-time rates above 89%, decreasing average lag over time, and stable order volumes, reflecting improved delivery efficiency. This summary highlights the importance of standardized timestamps and aggregation by month to track fulfillment trends accurately. This full-cycle example bridges the gap between raw ERP data and decision-ready KPIs. Try exporting your metrics or visualizing with Matplotlib or Seaborn for ad hoc presentations. For a video walkthrough on this topic, check for analytics tutorials on YouTube. Recap what you learned about on-time delivery and fulfillment rates. You explored real-world order delivery data and transformed it into business-ready KPIs. You handled real data quality problems and learned patterns for robust operational analytics. You practiced best practices such as date cleaning, aggregation, and reporting. Next, try joining order and product data for richer supply chain insights. For more supply chain analytics workflows, explore relevant channels on YouTube. Running the cell now.